ambition, and entrepreneurial zeal of the Ghanaian people. Through our award-winning export credit agency, UK Export Finance, Britain is providing £40 million worth of financial support for Contractor to help build the project. Another £110 million of UKEF support is going towards the construction of a state-of-the-art 750-bed maternity unit at Kumasi's teaching hospital. And this shows our determination to pull out the stops and support British firms to carry out key infrastructure schemes such as these in Ghana and throughout Africa. An ambition underlined yesterday by Prime Minister Boris Johnson when he announced £620 million worth of funding to support British exports to nations across the African continent. And that brings UKEF's total financial commitment in just the last 2 years to £2 billion. Britain is one of the biggest investors in Africa, and UK firms are right at the forefront of developing new business ventures across the African economy. But we are determined, and yesterday's summit and our support, sir, for today's excellent event is a sign that we want to go further and are ambitious to do more. Now, of course, this progress is particularly to be observed in Ghana, where companies such as Blue Skies, a UK investment backed by CDC, employs 3,500 people, exports juices to the UK. Large British institutions such as Prudential and Standard Chartered are also working with Ghanaian partners to grow their businesses significantly and so contribute to Ghana's success. From textiles to tea, chemicals to cocoa, machinery to medicines, fish to pharmaceutical products, trade and investment between our nations is dynamic, varied, and deeply entwined. There really hasn't been a better time to trade with and invest in each other's economies. Now, we are a global leader in the UK in innovation and sustainable infrastructure, one of the priorities highlighted earlier on. Britain offers precisely the kind of world-class capabilities and expertise required to help Ghana and other African nations tackle many of the key challenges to economic development. British firms offer a network of excellence in design, master planning, project management and financing, together with cutting-edge professional services from accountancy to legal advice. The City of London is the world's preeminent centre for cross-border finance. It's the world financial centre, and investment from London can help provide access to the funding firms need to kickstart innovative infrastructure projects that are changing lives for the better across Africa, as well as making, of course, those airport experiences both more pleasurable and more inspiring. The British government is determined to deepen and strengthen the commercial bonds between the UK and Ghana through the Strategic Economic Partnership Agreement our two nations signed last May. This ambitious initiative is already leading to new opportunities, with the UK's National Mapping Agency, Ordnance Survey, for example, discussing a deal to develop a fully digitised map and land registry of Ghana, and the London Stock Exchange agreeing to enter into partnership with the Ghana Stock Exchange. So this fast-expanding economic relationship between our two countries is also being honed and focused by the UK-Ghana Business Council, which has brought our governments together to find ways to reduce barriers to trade and drive growth. Now, the UK, as has been referred to, is just days away from leaving the European Union and embracing its new role as a truly independent, outward-looking, free-trading nation. And in that circumstance, we will strengthen our ties with Ghana, as well as other fast-growing economies globally. Now, as one of Ghana's most famous sons, Kofi Annan, the then UN Secretary-General, said nearly 20 years ago, open markets offer the only realistic hope of pulling billions of people in developing countries out of abject poverty. So it's only open markets that offer that hope. And that's why I'd like to praise the government of Ghana, and indeed you, sir, as President and leader, for its work in recent years to lift barriers to international investment, including through its national digitisation programme and your ambitious vision of a Ghana beyond aid. UK businesses are already helping to deliver Ghana Beyond Aid, such as Aqua Africa, which is a project aimed at raising thousands of people out of water poverty, or BHM's work to help upgrade the Tema Aflo Highway. We want to support the Ghana Beyond Aid initiative and support your vision, sir, of becoming the most business-friendly economy in Africa. Now, I think 2019 was a good year for Ghana, with thousands of people from your global diaspora visiting for your year of return and celebrating what modern Ghana has to offer the world. But you know what? 2020 promises to be even better, because Ghana is set to become the new home of the African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat, and your nation is one of the leading markets for trade and investment in Africa. The vibrant economic partnership between Britain and Ghana goes from strength to strength, but the challenge for us now is to prioritise our efforts and be honest with each other about where we can do more and work towards clear, common priorities. The UK-Ghana partnership has vast potential. So let's work together, keep pushing the boundaries of economic change so that we can embrace this great period of transformation in the global marketplace and do it together. Thank you very much.
From now on, there is a new African in the world. Our independence is meaningless unless it is linked up with the total liberation of the African continent.
Ghana and indeed Africa Beyond Aid is meant to be more than a slogan. It is meant to propel us into the frame of mind that will quicken our pace of development. It is meant to change our mindset from one of dependency and living on handouts to one of achieving our destiny. It is meant to put us in charge of our own affairs and make us truly independent. Above all, Ghana Beyond Aid will give us the respect and dignity we deserve.
We are soon going to be hearing from His Excellency, the President of Ghana, very shortly. But we have a senior minister to introduce him. She has almost 14 years as an MP in Ghana. 16, whoo, add 2, 16 years as an MP in Ghana. She comes from a journalism and a marketing background, and she's used her platform to champion gender equality, child development, and of course, community health. In fact, she really pushed for a public health clinic to be put in Ga Central Municipality. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give me a rousing round of applause for the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Honourable Shirley Ayorkor Botchwey.
Hello, everybody. This morning, my job is a simple one, to introduce the keynote speaker. However, it's not too simple because of who he is. Our keynote speaker for this investment summit is a multilingual legal professional. He was educated in Ghana and the United Kingdom. He was called to the bar of both countries and also practiced in France. As a lawyer par excellence, he championed and still upholds the rule of law, freedom, justice, and the tenets of democracy. He has demonstrated excellence in his legal, business, and political career in both domestic and international spheres. To mention but a few of his achievements, he co-founded the law firm Akufo-Addo Prempeh & Co., a prominent law firm that has mentored and churned out impressive and accomplished lawyers in Ghana. As a highly altruistic and philanthropic individual, he's well known to have given free legal assistance to the needy and fought for the rights and liberties of the Ghanaian people. No wonder he became the first chairperson of the Committee on Human and People's Rights in Ghana. He served on the boards and committees of reputable legal, business, political, and social organizations in Ghana. The keynote speaker is not a stranger to business. In the business arena, he was the first chairperson of DHL Ghana Limited and chairperson of Kinesec Communications Company Limited. By dint of his excellent problem-solving skills, he leveraged his association with the U.S. company Millicom to introduce mobile telephony in Ghana. In the political space, he served as a member of parliament, Minister of Justice and Attorney General, and Minister for Foreign Affairs with distinction. He was responsible for the repeal of the criminal libel law. This repeal has enabled the Ghanaian media become one of the most vibrant and freest in Africa. Currently the co-chair of the group of eminent persons of the Sustainable Development Goals, our keynote speaker is passionate about finding smart, sustainable solutions through leveraging trade and investment in Ghana and by extension, Africa. This undoubtedly informed the efforts he made for Ghana to be chosen to host the African Continental Free Trade Secretariat. As a visionary, in his inaugural speech as president, he said, and I quote, "My vision for Ghana is of an optimistic, self-confident, and prosperous nation with a strong and thriving democratic society in which mutual trust and economic opportunities exist for all, irrespective of their background. Prosperous and self-confident Ghana that is in charge of her economic destiny. A transformed Ghana that is prosperous enough to be beyond needing aid and that engages competitively with the rest of the world through trade and investment," unquote. He is on course to deliver on this promise, and that is to build a self-reliant economy, a Ghana beyond aid. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, with a round of applause, let's welcome to the podium His Excellency, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
the Minister for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, the Minister for Finance, the Minister for Trade and Industry, Minister for Food and Agriculture, the Minister for Communications, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, the UK Minister for Investment, Ghana's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, organizers of the Ghana Investment and Opportunities Summit, the Chief Executive of Ghana's Investment Promotion Center, participants, fellow Ghanaians, ladies and gentlemen. I'm happy to be back in London again and was glad that yesterday I had the opportunity to lead Ghana's delegation to the UK Africa Investment Summit, an event that went very well. This morning before coming here, I had the honor to witness the signature of a memorandum of understanding between Ghana's fledgling stock exchange and the London Stock Exchange, the most famous and arguably the most successful stock exchange in history. Hopefully, this new partnership will help the rapid growth of our economy and also of our new relations with Britain in the post-Brexit era. I'm grateful today for the invitation to be part of the 2020 edition of the Ghana Investment and Opportunities Summit, an event in its second year which has already acquired a positive reputation for facilitating partnerships between Ghanaian and British companies and creating a common platform for that objective by generating ideas and nurturing them into success. The organizers of the summit are to be warmly commended for this. The theme chosen for this event is relevant and sums up the current aspirations of Ghana and Africa. Accessing the African common market through Ghana, technology, digitization, and industrialization. Ladies and gentlemen, when I accepted the responsibility on behalf of the government and people of Ghana to host in Accra the Secretariat of the African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, it signaled the completion of the processes to create the world's largest free trade area since the formation of the World Trade Organization. We expect the Secretariat to be up and running by March 2020 for trading to begin in the free trade area by July this year. It also reiterated the desire of the 54 African member states of the African Union that had signed the agreement for the coming into effect of the AFCFTA to work with a common voice and a common purpose to exploit the abundant wealth and resources of our great continent for the benefit of the African peoples. We know that the success of the AFCFTA would mean that the era of low volumes of intra-regional trade that have defined the activities of African economies will come to an end. Up till now, trade between African nations has remained low compared to other parts of the world. In 2000, intra-regional trade accounted for 10% of Africa's total trade and increased to 16% in 2015. Intra-regional trading in 2015, for example, amongst members of the European Union amounted to 70%, stood at 52% amongst the nations of Asia and 50% amongst the nations of North America. Surely, an increase in intra-regional trade in Africa is one of the surest ways to promote the progress we seek for Africa. It should guarantee a rapid increase in exchanges of our agricultural, financial, industrial, scientific, and technological products, which would enhance dramatically our attainment of prosperity and the prospects of employment for the African peoples, particularly our youth. Our economies will then be shaped not by the production and export of raw materials, but by the things we make and grow. Unfortunately for us in Africa, we continue to travel along the worn path of limited success of being producers and exporters of raw materials, a relic of our past colonial association. We are now required to think outside the box. Our thinking and approach to solving problems must be different from the thinking and approach that brought about the problems in the first place. As the experience of the successful countries in Asia and elsewhere have shown, in addition to creating an atmosphere for the private sector to thrive and create jobs, government has a very important and positive role to play in spurring industrialization and economic transformation, ensuring that businesses are up and running, promoting access to the capital that will keep the wheels of business moving, maintaining macroeconomic stability, making available public goods such as an efficient bureaucracy, a strong adherence to the rule of law, and a fair and equitable social system in health and education delivery are some of the major responsibilities of government. The government of Ghana is addressing each one of them to ensure that as hosts of the Secretariat of the AFCFTA, we're properly positioned to be the hub of trade in Africa. Firstly, in order to garner the fruits of the AFCFTA and to realize the vision of a Ghana beyond aid, our first order of business has been to continue to ensure the maintenance of macroeconomic stability to facilitate the growth of Ghana's economy. Over the last 3 years, key economic indicators, which were in disarray prior to my assumption of office, have all been pointing in the right direction. We have ensured an average GDP growth rate of 7% over the last 3 years, compared to the 3.6% we inherited in December 2016. Reduced inflation from 15.4% in December 2016 to the single-digit figure of 7.9% in December 2019. Restored fiscal discipline by bringing the fiscal deficit down from 9.3% in December 2016 to 4.5% today. Furthermore, we're managing the economy in a manner that is guaranteeing pragmatism in mobilizing and deploying national resources. An efficiently managed economy, together with the continuous maintenance of a business-friendly climate, are essential towards driving investment into Ghana and stimulating growth and creating jobs. Secondly, we're accelerating the process of the structural transformation of our economy. Government is fully committed to addressing productive capacity issues through initiatives such as the One District, One Factory, 1D1F policy, the development of strategic anchor industries like the integrated bauxite and aluminum industry, the iron and steel industry, and the automotive policies to spur on the creation of vehicle assembly plants, the establishment of industrial parks, and the program for agricultural renewal, enhancement, and diversification we have dubbed Planting for Food and Jobs. It is this transformation that will give us the best opportunity to derive the greatest value from our abundant natural resources and from our participation in the AFCFTA and help bring progress and prosperity to our people. Fortified by the deliberate steps we are taking to educate our young people to be responsive to the needs of the 21st century world of work. We're refocusing our education by placing greater emphasis on technical, vocational, and educational training, TVET, and science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM education. Widening access to education and providing our youth the skills and knowledge to compete successfully in the global economy of the 21st century are what will enable us, obtain maximum benefit from our youthful population, and permit them to realize their potential from their hard work, their sense of enterprise, creativity, and innovation for the rapid development of our nation and continent. Thirdly, to achieve optimal results from the AFCFTA, we're putting in place the needed physical infrastructure. Government is investing in trade-related infrastructure in order to facilitate trade. The ongoing expansion of the Tema port, which upon completion will make it one of the biggest ports in Africa. The simultaneous expansion of the Takoradi port, as well as the development of numerous road projects and railway networks, are all testaments of government's resolve to leverage new market opportunities on the continent. The overarching aims of the measures to harness the benefits of the AFCFTA are to develop and expand our economy and create sustainable jobs for our youth. When our youth decide to trek the Sahara on foot and brave the stormy conditions of the Mediterranean, it is in search of jobs and opportunities which do not exist in large quantities on the continent. It is estimated that by 2050, Africa will have the largest number of young people in the world, i.e. some 900 million. This means that African countries, including Ghana, will have to find sustainable ways of creating jobs other than relying on the limited absorption capacity of public sector employment and on the production and export of raw materials. To do this, we need the private sector to take advantage of agreements such as the AFCFTA to expand production both in industry and in agriculture, and take the lead in the socio-economic transformation of our country, as others have done elsewhere. It is my strongly held conviction the government has to assist this process by fashioning and implementing a comprehensive set of policies that will empower the private sector to achieve its goal. Appropriate fiscal, monetary, financial, energy, exchange rate, tariff, and non-tariff policies must be coordinated to enable Ghanaian enterprises to be competitive and, where possible, achieve comparative advantage. Even though currently we are the largest recipient of foreign direct investment in West Africa, we should do more to attract even greater investments. We need, inter alia, to streamline the large proliferation of agencies and departments that local and would-be foreign investors have to deal with. And to that end, we're taking steps to cut down on the bureaucracy. We have also made a specific number of interventions to reduce the cost of doing business, reduce the stress associated with setting up businesses, and formalize the economy. The e-business registration system, the paperless port clearance system, the digital property addressing system, the mobile interoperability payment system, and the national identification card system are helping to quicken the pace of change to bring us into the technology-driven era and make our businesses competitive, and thereby attract the requisite investment, foreign and domestic, to spur on our country's economic transformation. We're determined to take advantage of the digital revolution in all spheres of our national life. We're creating the space for the private sector to grow the jobs that our young people need. I'm working towards building a Ghana that is working to create jobs for her people and affording decent lives for her population. Ghana is endowed with great potential, and it is a country where security is assured, where the rule of law is upheld by an independent judiciary, and where investments are protected in law and in fact. We want to participate in the global marketplace at the high end of the value chain for Ghanaian products. We want to bring greater dignity to the lives of millions of people in Ghana and we want to build a Ghana beyond aid. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, let me restate that Ghana is fully committed to the implementation of the AFCFTA. With a collective desire for shared prosperity, we are confident that the AFCFTA will succeed and offer a new impetus and dynamism for the rapid growth of Africa's economies and deepen the process of integration in Africa. Empowered Ghanaian enterprises should be frontline actors in this new exciting journey in Africa's economic history. We owe to generations unborn to ensure that the biggest trading bloc on the globe, whose outcomes will be rewarding to all, and which will assist in attaining the Ghana and Africa we want, does not falter. May God bless our homeland, Ghana, and us all. And I thank you for your attention.
You may be seated. What an inspiring speech, both as a person living in Britain, as a Ghanaian, as an African, as a diasporan, clear messages on where we must go, and it must always be forward. So thank you very much for that speech. Now, every conference is always good to have a deal that is signed. And today we have such a deal that will be signed. In fact, behind the scenes, discussions have been going on, and we are pleased to announce a $100 million facility for Ghana Exim Bank, and that has been brokered between Credit Suisse and Ghana Exim Bank, and we're going to sign it live on stage right now. So, I'm going to announce a few people to join us on stage. Could I please have the Minister of Finance, Mr. Kenneth Oriata, to please join us on stage? Can I please have, on behalf of Ghana Exim Bank, could I please have, also can I have Nana Dankwaso, please? Dr. Nana Dankwaso, could you please come to the stage? Could I please have the board chairman, Boatin Genfi, please? And of course, last but not least, on behalf of the Ghana Exim Bank, Lauren Ajinsam, can you please come on stage as well? And we can sign this momentous deal. Credit Suisse, can you please join us on stage as well? And they have a brown box and paperwork. I love it. The President. Yes. And please welcome His Excellency, the President of Ghana. Yes. You need another chair.
Right, well, so those were excerpts of the event that is taking place in the United Kingdom to promote trade here in Ghana. The president just addressed those assembled and talked about lots of things, including his plan to shape the economy by the things we make and grow, not by the export of raw materials. He talked more about accelerating the process of structural transformation of the economy, mentioned some of the pillars through which that will be achieved: one district, one factory, planting for food and jobs, and so forth, the aluminium industry. And he talked about deriving the greatest value from our raw materials, made reference to the Sino-Hydro deal, amongst other projects to leverage on the value of our raw materials. He talked about the country refocusing on TVET education and our commitment to the Africa Free Trade Agreement, which he said will be enhanced by the expansion of the Tema and Takrade ports. He said Ghana is the biggest attractor of foreign direct investment in Ghana, and that we're taking steps to cut down the bureaucracy and reducing the cost of doing business to attract foreign investors and to enable the private sector to become the job creation engine of our economy. So much more was said. We'll bring you excerpts later in subsequent bulletins, but at this time, I think we can hand over to Daniel Daze for Joy News Desk. Thank you for watching.